When we talk about monsters in Wilds, what you mostly get on YouTube and people's discussion in general in the community is what monsters should return to Wilds. But over here, we're going to talk about what monsters shouldn't return to Wilds, because I think there are actually quite a lot that I don't want to see return, and I'm going to go through that with you in this video. I'm Schmidt from VigorCheck, and let's go through 10 monsters I just don't think belong in Monster Hunter Wilds. Starting off with our first monster, I just don't think Dalamadur needs to return. I keep seeing everyone asking for Dalamadur, the big snake wyvern. We saw his skeleton or something similar in the Rotten Vale. We saw the snake wyverns on the front of the Wilds logo, and everyone's hyped for the idea of Dalamadur returning. No, he's a final boss, and I don't want to see final bosses back, because the idea for me is the final boss is the big bad. He's the one that the whole game's building up for, and the one you want to take down, right? So I don't want to see that return. It kind of diminishes the whole point of the games they appeared in. Like, the hype behind taking down Safi Jiva and finally eliminating that threat. If he returned, that might just diminish the idea that these hunters and the 5th Fleet went there to do what they did. If we had someone like Shara Ishvalda turn up, that whole epic moment of the end of the hunter walking away, does that make that worse? I don't know. I mean, Dalamadur would be a cool concept, and it'd be cool to see done differently, but I do not think he should return. Much like our next two monsters, Alatreon and Fatalis. And I'm going to start with Fatalis. I don't think Fatalis should return, at least in Wilds, because, to be honest with you, it's too soon. Fatalis was the most perfected, in some ways, final boss for Iceborne, and I think it'd just be a little too soon for such an extreme threat to show back up. I think that he was purposefully left out of Rise for many reasons, and I don't think he should show up in Wilds either. I think he needs to be few and far between, because that's what makes him so impactful. And I do feel similar with Alatreon. I think Alatreon had his impact in World after being away from the series for a while, and I think that he should take another break. While also being a controversial monster in World, he was also just, he felt like a big final stepping stone before Fatalis, and I don't want to see him return too soon to where he starts to become a novelty rather than a true awesome experience. Now, our fourth monster is Diablos, and why have I picked Diablos? Well, I think Diablos, he's been around too much, right? He's almost been a mainstay as much as Rathalos since Diablos showed up, and I'm a little bored of him. I think he's a really amazing monster design, but I could just do without seeing him for one game, you know? There's a couple monsters on this list that I feel similarly with. And another reason I kind of don't want him to show up is I just think that it would be nice to maybe get his cousin in for a game, Monoblos. No, maybe? What do you guys think? I would really like to see Monoblos, man. It'd be awesome. Yeah, we need him back. It'd be so cool. And on with our number 5. Again, it's one of those that I just don't think we need again for a little while, and that would be Rajang. I think Rajang has just shown up. He's shown up 2 games in a row, maybe 3 if I'm wrong. I don't know if he was in 4, but he was also in GU. And I just think that Rajang is starting to lose his scariness, right? Like, you're fighting him more and more, and he's starting to become a monster you learn better and better. And I think what made him so scary when he showed up in World is, first of all, it was a lot of first-timers, but even for veterans of the series, he was not that common of a fight, and it was terrifying to face that muscle monkey. Like, again, in World, it was crazy, but then him showing up again in Rise, not only was he easier, but I just think it kind of diminished him a little bit in Rise. He's just kind of forgettable in that game, whereas in World, you'll never forget your first Rajang. So yeah, I think Rajang should take a little step back to make way for the other monkeys to get some screen time. Now, another 2 monsters that I think, well, they debuted in World, and I just don't think, I think they can take a break now. They've worked hard from World to Rise, and that would be Anjanath and Pookie Pookie. While they are amazing designs for early game, Pookie Pookie being an amazing status effect teacher and an awesome design, and Anjanath just being the powerhouse wall of the early game for new players. I just think that they don't need to show up again. I think their places have been taken by Gypsaros, and it looks like I think Anjanath has been taken up by Doshagama. I just don't think they need to come back, and I don't think they will for this game. I don't see a place for them in the roster currently, and I'd be comfortable with saying these guys can probably stay behind for a while, even though I think they are both amazing monster designs. Each individually so cool. I just don't want to see them back. Now, this is one that I've heard a lot of people want back. Valstrax. I don't want Valstrax back this game. First of all, Valstrax has been in GU and then Rise, so he's been pretty consistently showing up recently. But I just think he doesn't fit into WILD's aesthetic currently. I think, don't get me wrong, they could make it work, right? They could make Valstrax work 100%. Capcom know what the fuck they're doing, okay? But I just don't think he belongs in WILDS in its current state. Maybe if in the DLC we get some crazy new areas and crazy new stuff, sure. But I think Valstrax just doesn't quite fit where he fit into Rise and GU and their over-stylized crazy movement a lot. I think WILDS is a little more grounded in its approach, and I think Valstrax kind of would break that mold a little bit. So unfortunately, I don't want to see Valstrax back. And it's a shame to say because I love that monster, and his music theme, mwah, absolutely beautiful. Now this one's going to hurt a few people. I don't want to see Zynoga back, to be honest with you. I just don't. I think he's been around too much recently. Ever since he was introduced, he has just shown up again and again and again, and I'm tired of fighting Zynoga. As much as I think his fight's really cool, I think his design's a little bit ugly and over-designed. Sorry, get your pitchforks out and chase me. I'm not a huge fan of his design. Stygian Zynoga is far superior. But I don't know, man. I think the Thunder Puppy can take a break. I think he is just way too consistently in the games, and I'm not going to miss him if he's not there, I'll be honest. But I'm not going to complain if he is there, If he's there, he's there. But I don't really want him, to be honest with you guys. And for our final monster, it is the flagship of Iceborne, Velkhana. I think Velkhana, again, is one of those monsters that peaked in Rise, not Rise. It definitely didn't peak in Rise, although it was quite good in Rise. It peaked in Iceborne, and I didn't expect it to show up in Rise. It was cool that it did show up in Rise, and I liked the way they implemented the arc-tempered thing, but I just don't see a place for it, personally, in WILDS. I think the idea is that they're not going to do many Elder Dragons, so I don't know if we'll see him anyway. I just don't want Velkhana back for a while. I've had enough of Velkhana. As cool of a monster as it is, I wouldn't complain if it's back. I think there's just something cooler in ice monsters and more unique that we can use to take its place. There's so many ice monsters that I believe deserve to shine, and Velkhana should take a backseat for a little while and watch from a distance. But anyway, I hope you guys kind of agree with that. What monsters do you not think should show up in the game? What do you think should show up in the game? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, all that good stuff. If you think I sound a little weird, I am sick at the moment, so that's why I'm going to sound a bit weird. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next video. In a bit.